Ever wondered why so many boxers have undefeated records in boxing? And why these records don't seem to impress as much anymore? Today, we're diving deep into the world of boxing to uncover the truth behind these undefeated streaks and how they've lost their prestige.
1, 2, 3, light 'em up for some poppy!
By the end of this video, you'll see why an undefeated record in boxing isn't all it's cracked up to be. Let's get started.
Winners win, and losers lose. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work.
First off, let's talk numbers. Did you know that a staggering 33% of the top 10 boxers in each division are undefeated? That's right. Out of the top fighters from flyweight to heavyweight, 1 in 3 has never lost a match. This might seem impressive at first, but when you dig deeper, it raises some serious questions. How can so many fighters maintain a perfect record in a sport as tough as boxing? The answer lies partly in the ease of becoming a professional boxer. Unlike sports like the NBA or NFL, where athletes undergo rigorous selection processes and drafts, boxing has a much lower barrier to entry.
How does that even make sense?
All you need to do is apply for a professional license through your state's athletic commission. That's it. Once you've got that license, you're a professional boxer. This opens the door for many fighters, but it also dilutes the pool of competition. To really understand how unique this undefeated phenomenon is to boxing, let's compare it with other combat sports, like MMA.
But honestly, that was
In the UFC, for example, only about 6.25% of the top fighters are undefeated. That's a massive difference compared to boxing's 33%. Why? Because the UFC has a more rigorous selection process. Fighters have to prove themselves through various stages like the Contender Series and the Ultimate Fighter. This means they're constantly facing high-quality opponents, making it much harder to maintain an undefeated record. This brings us to the illusion of undefeated records. On the surface, a perfect record might seem like a clear indicator of a fighter's superiority. But in reality, it's not that simple. You have to look at the context. Who did they fight? When did they fight them? And under what circumstances? Many of these undefeated records are built on fights against lesser opponents. While the general public might be impressed by an undefeated streak, true boxing enthusiasts know that a fighter's record doesn't always reflect their true abilities. It's the quality of their opponents and the challenges they've overcome that matter more. Now, let's get into how promoters capitalize on this low barrier to entry. One of the main tactics they use is selective matchmaking. Promoters carefully handpick opponents for their fighters, ensuring they're less skilled or less experienced. This guarantees easy wins and helps maintain an undefeated record.
No more is he undefeated, and Salido has pulled it off.
In the early stages of a boxer's career, it's common to see them face opponents with poor records or fighters past their prime. These early victories build confidence and inflate the fighter's record without truly testing their skills. Promoters also use the undefeated record as a powerful marketing tool. An undefeated fighter is a promoter's dream, attracting fans, media attention, and sponsorship deals.
Similar, again, I was sponsored by Lonsdale, who was giving us £2,000 a fight, but I was also had other sponsorships here and there, so averaging around £4,000 a fight, which made it £20,000 for the year for sponsorship.
The hype around an undefeated record can drive ticket sales and pay-per-view buys through the roof. To protect this golden record, promoters often avoid matching their fighters with top contenders until it's financially advantageous. A classic example of this strategy is the case of Emmanuel Williams, who was signed to top-ranked promotions mainly to lose against higher-skilled opponents and fluff their records. He fought 4 fights in 12 months and lost all 4 by KO. Some even consider him the worst boxer of all time, but in my opinion, the poor kid isn't even a boxer, but a guy who was brought in just to lose. Just like carefully managing who their fighters face, promoters can create the illusion of an unbeatable champion. But such fights are not good for the sport and even for the boxer. Sure, he might bask in the glory of undefeated sunshine for a year or two, but the moment he faces a decent competition, his blood will paint the canvas with 50 shades of a reality check. This can lead to devastating losses that not only tarnish their record, but also shake their confidence and career trajectory. Now, let's talk about how these easy wins impact a fighter's development. On one hand, winning builds confidence, which is crucial for any athlete. But there's a downside. When fighters aren't regularly challenged, they don't develop the resilience and skills needed to compete at the highest levels. It's like training with weights that are too light. You're not really getting stronger. Now let me tell you how these padded undefeated records are actively harming the sport of boxing in several ways. Firstly, they create a distorted perception of what it means to be a top boxer. Fans see a long string of wins and assume greatness, but these victories often come against subpar competition. This misleads the public and diminishes the value of a truly earned undefeated record.
No more is he undefeated, and Salido has pulled it off.
I think it was a bad stoppage or those.
Secondly, padded records reduce the frequency of high-quality matchups. Promoters are reluctant to pit their undefeated fighters against other top contenders for fear of losing the zero in their record. This results in fewer marquee fights, which are the lifeblood of boxing's appeal. Fans are deprived of seeing the best fighters go head-to-head, which can lead to disinterest and dwindling viewership. Then there is the financial side of things. In boxing, having an undefeated record is a major selling point. Sponsors and advertisers are drawn to the allure of an unbeaten fighter. It's easier to market someone with a perfect record as an unstoppable force, which translates to lucrative sponsorship deals and endorsement opportunities. A fighter with a padded undefeated record can attract more sponsorships and financial support compared to a fighter with a genuine record filled with tough, real fights. Even though the latter might be a better, more seasoned fighter, their losses can be seen as blemishes by sponsors looking for a clean, marketable image. The current system is designed to incentivize padded records. Promoters know that an undefeated fighter is more marketable and can bring in more money through sponsorships, higher ticket sales, and pay-per-view buys. This creates a cycle where fighters are encouraged to take easier fights to maintain their perfect records rather than facing tough competition that might result in a loss. This approach not only impacts individual fighters, but also skews the sport's financial ecosystem. Genuine fighters who take on all challengers might struggle financially because their records aren't as appealing to sponsors. They end up facing more difficult paths to secure the same level of financial support and visibility. This practice raises some serious ethical and regulatory concerns. There's currently no stringent oversight in boxing to prevent record padding. Unlike team sports where player matchups are often random and regulated, boxing allows promoters significant freedom in choosing opponents. This lack of regulation can lead to unethical practices where fighters are used as stepping stones to artificially boost another's record. Promoting fighters based on these manufactured records can mislead fans and sponsors, ultimately harming the sport's integrity. It's a system that benefits promoters and a select few fighters, while often exploiting others. As a boxing fan, it breaks my heart to see the sport become a spectacle, and I hope somehow we get to see the same type of fights that we used to see in the 80s and even early 2000s. Thanks for watching. What do you think about undefeated records in boxing? Are they still impressive, or have they lost their luster? Leave your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of sports. See you next time.